How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are with the buyer or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt, all right? Let's get into the video. Today, we are talking about NSCC 2021-005, okay? So just to be crystal clear, this is not DTC-005, and DTC-005 was actually removed temporarily because there was some kind of filing issue. They have to fix it. They'll add it back, and that is that. So I'm a little behind in covering this one through my own, smooth brain mistake. I actually mistook DTC-005 with NSCC-005, which is why I'm a little behind. Okay, so apologies for that. Definitely not my best moment, but we'll go ahead and continue, and I'll get this video made for you guys and get this taken care of. Okay, so as we can see here, it is a rather lengthy document of 51 pages. Granted, if you come down here, starting at page, I don't know, what is this, 43, it's just pages are redacted in its entirety. And that's basically what is going on here. Now, luckily, so usually I have to go through every single page, or most of the pages, because it kind of repeats itself. But usually I have to go through each and every page and break it down in simple, smooth brain terminology, just for myself, honestly, not even for you all, just so I can understand it. And so luckily, there's an ape who was already done it for us. So much appreciation to Creekfist right here. I will, of course, have this link down in the description. So be sure to show this person some love, and total credit goes for them. I can't even take any credit for this at all, okay? But relatively simple explanation of what is going on, and let's go over it. So a crucial regulatory filing has just been signed by the DTC and will be implemented no later than 20 business days. That means May 24th. This latest is the latest day it could be passed if we are starting to count from tomorrow, the 27th. Okay, so which is today. So there we go. So once again, the DTCC is basically covering their own butts with this ruling. But the good news is that means that the squozazzle is imminent. Okay, so once again, well, let's get into it, and then we'll kind of recap, right? So luckily, this person gave us the 2ape didn't read at the very beginning. We'll go over this, and if you're done, then you're done. But if you want to know a little more, like I like to know a little more, then feel free to stick around. So 2ape didn't read. This increases minimum fund deposit requirements for each member from $10,000 to $250,000 in cash. All right. This is to mitigate the risks NSCC or the DTCC is exposed when members get liquidated because of defaulting margin call. In other words, the NSCC is requiring every member to throw $250,000 in cash to cover for member defaults. Okay, and basically, well, we'll continue here. And so an addendum, basically an edit here. So NSCC can look at members' portfolios and decide if the required fund deposit amount needs to reflect the risk. And addendum number 2, it is 20 days after the commission approves it. So yeah, so basically for this one, 20 business days, it's after they approve it. So there could be, from my understanding, there could be some like appeals, or not appeals, but like, people could say, objections or something like that. And then they would have to kind of go from there. So, but there is an approval process that needs to happen, and then it'll be in effect 20 days after the approval. So without reading all of this, these terms, all this craziness, basically this is going over this is something else. So let's go over this really quick, just for continuity. So the NSCC believes the proposed changes are designed to assure the safeguarding of securities funds which are in its custody or control, for which it is responsible, because they are designed to enable the NSCC to require necessary margin for members who maintain a minimum required fund deposit to limit its exposure to such members in the event of a member default. Okay, so it's exactly what we said before. So let's just continue here. Having adequate margin for such members would help ensure that NSCC does not need to use its own resources or the eligible clearing fund securities and funds of non-defaulting members to cover losses in the event of such members. So basically, and we've talked about this before, right? It's the same exact pattern. It's interesting how they're passing all these things and including this in all of this, because we've talked about it before. If they're structuring it right, I used the example before of a building. Right now, think of these hedge funds like buildings, and if a building collapses, they're structuring it so it collapses straight down and not to the side and take down these other hedge funds all around it and then collapses everything, right? So they're structuring it to go straight down. This way, they're not grabbing other people with them. Okay, and that's what this is doing, because either the DTCC is going to have to cover if like the hedge fund can't cover or whatever, or other hedge funds will have to cover each other. And so like, this is why they're saying whenever things get ugly, the hedge funds are going to be against each other, because they don't want to be bag holding for one another. They'd rather one fail than try to bring someone else with them and all of them like, fail together, or, multiple fail or whatever it would be. It's going to be a bloodbath between hedge funds, in my opinion, whenever this goes the way I think it's going to go. So let's continue. Specifically, the proposed rules seeks to change or seeks to remedy potential situations described where people are under margin. Let's see here. Let me sneeze. Excuse me, I apologize. By ensuring, okay, so basically everything that we talked about, just mitigating the risk of loss. So a lot of risk involved right now with what is going on. Okay. And so that is that. And we're seeing they're making it more difficult for, and we see this with the short borrow fee rate, right? It continues to go up as it gets more risky. So you have to keep paying those fees in order for you to hold the stock, because it's more risky. Like, is it worth it to you, or do you just want to cover? And these guys are just kicking the can down the road, and they think it's worth it for them. So you know what? I'll wait all day. I've been waiting my whole life without any money, so I can wait a little longer. So let's continue here. I don't see anything here that I really am too excited about, but so I actually appreciate what this person did. So this person checked the numbers, and so there are, in the NSCC members directory, there are 3,440 members, right? So 3,440 members times $250,000 in cash that each one needs to put up is around $860 million, right? So and they say here, this is just the additional money being put in, not counting the all the assets short position the hedgies have. Okay, and I think this actually should have been 240 since they already have the 10,000. But it is what it is. So either way, it's a heck of a lot of money that is being put in. All right, and so it gets better. The NSCC tests that. Does tests that calculate members' risks by analyzing their portfolio. And so, quote, each member's required fund deposit would continue to be calculated with the same parameters and at the same confidence level for each member. Therefore, members that present similar risk, regardless of the type of member, would have similar impacts based on or on their required fund deposit amounts. So they say this means the NSCC can increase their minimum fund if they're risky. So if they're more risky, they're going to say, you know what, you need to have more fund. It's not fair for the other people if they're going to be covering for you if you can't afford to pay. You need to make sure you're in accordance, right? And so just continuing to do that. And so final section here, we'll just finish strong here. The increase in minimum required fund deposit would be in relation to the credit exposure risks presented by the class members that currently maintain a required fund deposit less than $250,000. Each member's fund deposit would continue to be calculated with the same parameters at the same confidence level. Okay, so that's essentially what we just read, right? So as we can see, guys, it is just more and more and more structuring to the demolition of what is going to happen, of the situation of what's going to happen. And it's just, I don't know. I'm so bullish. Like, it just makes it so easy to hold, because all I have to do is hold. And it makes it so easy to hold whenever I see that these guys are finally doing it. And, you know, I think about it like this, like the NSCC, DTCC, they don't care about the squeeze, right? They just don't want to be bag holding. They don't care if these guys go under or whatever, as long as they don't have to pay their money and they're doing well or whatever, you know. I don't really think they care very much. So I'm perfectly fine with them structuring it, making sure that I get paid so that they don't, you know, they don't care if we get, you know, they just don't want to be the ones to pay us. But they know that we're probably going to get paid, which is why they're structuring all this. All of a sudden, they're pushing through the rules through quickly. They're pushing all this stuff as rapid as possible, and that's that. My monitor just went out, so hopefully that doesn't really affect anything, especially since I'm at the end of the video. But that is what I have for you guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate it. Sorry I was a little late with this one, but I'll be better going forward. And so, yeah, that is that. If you guys like the content, please consider subscribing. I'm doing my best to cover the squeeze and everything going on with it. If you want to give this video some visibility, be sure to like it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting it out there. But other than that, you guys have a great night. Peace.